The Republic of Mali is located in Western Africa. Once a French colony, Mali gained its independence in 1960 and has been a democracy since the 1990s. Today, it is considered one of the most politically stable African countries. The official language of Mali is still French, however most Malians communicate in Bambara.
Mali is a predominantly Islamic country, with about 90% of the population being Muslim. Despite its political stability, Mali is one of the poorest countries in the world, scoring in the bottom 10 on the Human Development Index. During our trip, we stayed in Bamako, the capital city, with a population now estimated to be around 2 million people. It is also the country's largest.
Bamako is among the fastest growing and changing cities on the continent. The city is rapidly urbanizing and becoming more modern. In 1996, the city opened its first university, the University of Bamako. Today, over 80,000 students are enrolled in the university's 9 campuses. Bamako is a bustling, crowded, chaotic city and suffers from overpopulation and heavy traffic.
We spent 3 weeks in Bamako as research assistants to our advisor and anthropology professor, Bruce Whitehouse. Professor Whitehouse has been doing research in West Africa for 13 years. This trip was the beginning phase of a study he's planning to carry out in Bamako. The subject of our research was marriage in Bamako with a focus on polygamy. Mali has one of the highest rates of polygamy in the world. Approximately 40% of married women and 28% of married men are part of a polygamous marriage, in which the husband has up to 4 wives.
We want to know how marriage and polygamy are changing and how these institutions are experienced by young, educated people in Bamako in the 21st century. We want to know how polygamy is changing with urbanization and modernity, and whether these institutions will continue to have a place in Malian society.
Between the end of final exams in May and our departure in early July, we read various newspaper articles and excerpts from essays and ethnographies to prepare for our research. After receiving the necessary immunizations and our entry visas, we were ready to go.
Our trip began July 8th, taking off in New York and reaching Casablanca 6 hours later for a 12-hour layover. Instead of sitting around the airport, we took a tour of the city, exploring the most famous sites of Casablanca.
After another 6-hour flight, we landed in Bamako. We did a homestay in Magna Bougou with friends of Professor Whitehouse, the Touré family. We ate most meals with our host family, which we called the anti-South Beach diet, because almost every meal consisted of every carb imaginable: rice, potatoes, grains, and bread, often served with a traditional sauce.
We spent our days going to meetings and seeking out interview contacts. Most of our research was done through interviews. We began by meeting with several local journalists and scholars. Next, we contacted Malian students from the university, arranged meetings, and carried out individual interviews as well as focus groups, all in French.
Pourriez-vous opter pour un mariage polygame?
Dans l'avenir?
Oui et non.
Oui et non.
Ouais. Non, parce que j'ai été élevée dans une famille polygame. Alors je sais ce qu'il y a dedans. Et oui, bon, avec deux, on peut faire plus qu'avec un, n'est-ce pas?
Selon vous, seront-ils mariés monogames à Bamako aujourd'hui? Combien resteront fidèles à leur femme?
Il y en a pas.
July was the month before Ramadan and the most popular month for getting married. Many locals estimated that there were over 200 weddings each Sunday. As part of our research, we attended many wedding ceremonies and receptions.
The religious ceremony takes place between the men from both families. The imam distributes kola nuts and negotiations are made about the bride price. The civil ceremony takes place in the courthouse. Because there were so many marriages taking place, multiple couples were married at the same time. People crammed into the courthouse to watch the ceremonies. After the ceremonies, the newlyweds would host a party to celebrate with all their friends and family. In case you were wondering, we were not formally invited to most of these weddings, hence we became wedding crashers.
On our days off, we took day trips to the outer, more rural areas of the city. Our favorite neighborhood was Seed-Corony, about 45 minutes away from the heart of Bamako. The neighborhood was incredibly impoverished, perhaps one of the poorest areas in the world, but it was filled with young children who went wild at the sight of foreigners.
There you go. Our research was very successful. People were willing to talk to us about their experiences and beliefs about polygamy, marriage, and their personal lives. It took a while for people to warm up to us, but the fact that we spoke their language and were talking to people our own age helped establish a sense of connection.
It was a truly life-changing, eye-opening experience. We submerged ourselves in a completely foreign culture, explored a world entirely different than our own, and participated in first-hand anthropological fieldwork. This is an experience that very few undergraduates are offered. It wasn't easy, the heat, the culture shock, the unfamiliarity, and disorientation. But in overcoming these obstacles, we strengthened our own sense of selves and experienced an incredible feeling of accomplishment.
The trip would not have been possible without generous funding from the Center for Global Islamic Studies, the Office of International Affairs, and the Eckert Scholar Program.
Africa